Hi, Cardinals. How are you today? Good, I hope. I want to do something a little different today. I'd like to ask you a question. Do you like a good story? I thought you did. I love a good story also. In my family, we often share stories. Our parents had a lot of stories for us when we were growing up. They told us things about their life when they were young and some of their adventures. We loved hearing these, and we still tell those stories today. Some of them are very exciting and some are really funny. Well, I have a story to share with you, and it's actually in book form. This book, Mandy's Mark, is a story by a friend of mine. Her name is Donna Foster, and I got to be the illustrator of the story. I want to share a little about how this all came to be. Donna had a very special dog named Mandy, and this dog was real interesting. She was a rescue dog, and Donna got to love Mandy so much. They had many good times together. Donna started writing down little stories, and she kept working on her stories, and eventually she had a whole book worth of stories about Mandy. Well, Donna came to me and asked me if I would illustrate her story, and I told her I would certainly be happy to try. Well, I knew this would be something different and a lot of work for me. So, how did I start, do you think? I started with some little quick sketches. Sometimes when we have a big project, it's helpful to do little fast sketches. Sometimes artists call these thumbnail sketches. It's kind of like a rough draft in a way of a sketch. So this part of the story goes with these words, which I also wrote very quickly. And that's what I did first. I did little quick sketches that went with different parts of the story for our pictures. Later, I realized I needed to do some research because there were some very specific kinds of dogs in the story. So I got some pictures of the Cavalier Spaniels. I got some photographs of some other dogs that would be in the story. I also started doing my work, not just a drawing, but I started adding paint. So this is an early painting. It doesn't really totally look like Mandy, but it was an early start. So eventually all my illustrations were ready and the story was ready. So we had to get some help from a graphic designer, somebody that's artistic and creative and also uses the computer and all the abilities of the computer for illustrating. So this person put our book into digital form. It was all on the computer, and then we were able to get it into print. So I'd like to share it with you today. Are you ready to listen? I know you've been a great listener sometimes when we've had read aloud time. So let's do that again. The name of the story is Mandy's Mark. Donna Foster is the writer. Jean Everitt, that's me, is the illustrator. Here's the title page. You can see we have our names, and then we also signed it. You may have had a chance to see other authors and illustrators sign books. And then here's a little paw print stamp, and it says Mandy. She's really the star of the book and the main character. Here's how the story starts. This is the beginning. Mandy sat in the shade of her favorite oak tree and cried. I wish I was like my friends, Poppy and Jackson and Casey. They all have marks on the top of their heads, like the marks that a lot of red and white Cavalier Spaniels have. They won't let me play with them just because I'm different. She sighed. Later, when Mandy was ready to go to sleep, her mother was about to curl up beside her, and she said, Mandy, why are you so sad tonight? So Mandy told her about her friends and what they had said, and about their special marks. Well, you're beautiful just like you are, her mother said. If you're worried about a mark on your head, well, make your own mark, her mother softly said. Mandy felt a little better, and she dozed off to sleep. When she woke up, she thought about what her mother had said. So off she went to make her mark. She scrambled through a pile of old paint cans. She found a brush that would make a perfect mark. Dipping the brush in paint, she carefully painted a dot on her head. That's just right, she beamed. Now I'll be perfect like my friends. She hurried off to find them. When she found them in a park, she said, look at my head, she exclaimed as she met them in the park. As she spoke, big drops of rain started to fall, and it was taking the perfect mark with them. Poppy, Jackson, and Casey started to laugh. They were rolling on the ground, making fun of Mandy's mark and her paint-stained face. Oh, Mandy was so sad. Her tail hung low, and her tears met the raindrops on her nose. How can I make a mark of my own? She blubbered. Buddy, her cousin, overheard her and said, you can make a mark another way. How? Asked Mandy. A mark is not just something you can see, it's something you do by being the best. Like what? Said Mandy again. By barking the loudest, he said. I have a loud bark. See if you can bark louder than I can. Buddy answered. Mandy began barking, and her bark surprised a little girl who was about to run into a busy street. Instead of running into danger, the child ran to Mandy so she could pet her. However, Buddy's bark still louder. Dejected, Mandy started traveling on. She met up with her friend Venice. To make your mark, Venice said, you must run faster than I can. With those words, Venice started running. Mandy tried to keep up with her fast friend, but she stopped when she saw a baby bird that had fallen out of its nest. She gently placed the tiny bird in her mouth and carried it to the tree, where its mother flew down to get it. Oh, Mandy thought, I'll never make my mark by running fast. As she headed to a nearby lake, she saw some children playing ball with their dog Riley. Riley bragged she could swim longer than any other dog. This is my chance, thought Mandy. I'll swim with Riley and I'll last longer dog paddling. went in the lake. As soon as Mandy hit the water, she saw something happen. A little boy fell out of his boat. She quickly, or as quickly as her legs could carry her, rescued the boy. Mandy was completely out of breath by the time she reached the lake shore, but Riley was still paddling. Mandy climbed out of the water onto the grass. She had to wiggle and jiggle to get herself dry. I guess swimming is not my way of making my mark either, she sighed. Well, by now, the day was getting late. Mandy, slowly started for home. Along her journey, she met friends who invited her to walk with them. This made her feel some better. However, Mandy still felt inferior. She hadn't made her mark. Well, leaving them alone to play ball, Mandy rounded the corner toward home. When she arrived, her mother met her with a bone just the right size for her mouth. "What did I do to deserve this?" Mandy asked. "You made your own mark today," her mom lovingly said. "When did I do that?" Mandy asked. "Remember when you were trying to make your mark by barking the loudest, running the fastest, and swimming the longest?" Mom answered. "Yes," replied Mandy. "I was watching you all along, and I saw you keep a little girl from running in the street, return a baby bird to its mother, and rescue a boy from drowning." "Oh, that was nothing special," said Mandy. "I was just following my heart." "Exactly," said Mom. "That's how you made your mark, by showing kindness. You were more interested in helping others than winning contests." As the sun slowly set behind the old oak tree, Mandy's mom gently kissed her on the top of her head. "Now you have two special love marks, one on your head and one on your heart." That's the end of Mandy's mark. Thanks for listening so well. Here's a little note on the back pages. A note from the author, Donna Foster. And here's a little picture of Mandy. Here's a note from me, the illustrator. And here's a little more information about this special dog, the Cavalier Spaniel, and the little marks that some of them have on their head. There's an interesting story about the marks. Well, thanks again for listening so well, and I hope you have a great day. I want to encourage you to be a great listener when anyone has a good story to share with you. I want to encourage you to make up your own stories sometime and share them with others. Maybe write them down, maybe do some little sketches or some big illustrations. Have fun with your stories. And for now, I'll say have a great day, go Cardinals, and bye-bye.